Ba, ba, bum, bum. Ooh. Ah, can't hit two of them. I guess just back attack this one. Alright, 48. We're getting there. Honestly, being like in the mid to late 40s is fine because only Alec is 58. Everyone else is like in the 40s. Ba, ba, ba. Omega Breaker wouldn't have worked. Or not Breaker, Omega Burst. Or whatever it's called. What's the first one called? Omega Breaker is the line one, and the Omega Burst is the surrounding one. I don't remember what the other one is called. The one where it's like based on Veilheart's HP. Might be Omega Buster. Your attack means nothing to me. Apparently that means nothing to Veilheart. A copper dragon. Alright, Alec, new plan. We impulse bomb here. You might be able to reach this dragon. Yeah, you can with Night Raid. Gotta go with this. Fire in the hole! Alright, good job. So now I think we Omega Burst. Yeah, it's called Omega Buster. And maybe Theo can get this kill? I doubt it though. He probably can. He did like 45 last time. Alright, yeah, perfect. Ah, it's gonna kill you. And goodbye. Nice damage. This will end you. Cheryl, watch out. Veilheart's using Omega Breaker on you. Hey, how much do you guys have? You guys have almost 500 HP. I was gonna say, I'm really shocked you lived that. These dragons are a little bulky compared to like everything else in the game. Because the game's difficulty is a joke most of the time. Very surprised. I want to be able to get the other one too. Maybe if I do this. I think getting both of them is like is not really possible. Alright, no, I can't get both of them, so I'll just back attack you. That'll kill you. And this might kill you? Yeah, okay. Onward. It's a branch. Okay. So this is the wrong way, which means I gotta take this vine. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Phalanx? Phalanx, interesting. Phalanx raid from Tales of Berseria, the Therian art. Is that a weapon or something? Oh, it's a spear. We'll put that on my boy Theo. Yo, 10 attack. It's gonna lower my defense, but that's fine. 10 more attack for Theo is amazing. I want to give Theo some accessories. He's got nothing. We also have the battle suit. Should have gave that to someone sooner. I want to give that to someone else, though. Battle suit can go on anyone. Let's just give it to, like, Alec, because we're always using Alec. I don't always use Theo. As for these, I don't know, take Dark Amulet and then maybe Wind Amulet. Oh, that's right, the battles respawn. Dude, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, thank goodness this game doesn't have as many dungeons as the second one. This is by far the most mind-boggling and weirdest changes, and also most annoying changes ever. Like, why do you respawn the enemies every time you enter a room? I really hate it. Velheart does not need it. Only Theo needs to be healed. But I'll do this just in case. But yeah, I really hate that enemies come back every time you, like, leave the room and have to enter it again. And some dungeons, like, require backtracking. Like, some of the academy buildings require back and forth. It's just a little tedious. Like, I know the game isn't hard, but it's a little tedious. And it just pads the game length unnecessarily. Ideally. I want to try attacking you with this new Phalanx. I think I do. That did not do as much as I thought it would. Yeah. Burst. Bye. Enemies should respawn upon leaving the dungeon. Yeah, that's like the second game. That's how it works in Arc the Lad 2. In Arc the Lad 2, that's how it works. I feel like the Vermalion Sky Castle is an exception, though. Because in the final dungeon, you can't leave. So I think the final dungeon respawns it like this game. Because you can't leave the final dungeon. But, I'm pretty sure, like, the rest of the dungeons in Arc the Lad 2 work like that. Final dungeon's an exception because you can't leave the final dungeon. If they don't respawn the enemies, then you're not gonna be able to, like, grind. So, they have to make grinding possible, so that's understandable. But, every dungeon in this game is like, hey, the enemies respawn every single room. Or if they want to have, like, some kind of timer, I guess, like, maybe, like, if you enter a room, like, a few times, like, maybe after a few attempts they respawn, I'd be fine with that, too. I don't know. You know what it is? What strategy games, like, do I play with, like, actual dungeons? The only one I can think of that's not Arc the Lad is Shadows of Valentia. So, it doesn't come up enough. I just feel like I like strategy and tactics games and all that. It's very hit or miss, depending on how you do it with actual dungeons in them. But Shadows of Valentia didn't have random encounters, so I feel like that's not a really good example. So in SOV, if you didn't want to fight, you simply just skip the enemy. There's no random encounters to worry about. That's like the only other game that's not Arc the Lad that I've played with like dungeons in a tactics game. These dragons are so bulky. And the thing is, Arc the Lad as a game franchise, I love Arc the Lad 2. Arc the Lad 1 is fine. This game is gonna be fine to good. But the combat isn't even like that good. I play the games not for the combat, but for like the stories they tell. Well, this one barely has a story, but we're talking about the second one mainly. But the story and the characters and all that, like the gameplay is just kind of there. Like it's a neat little thing. It's not awful, but when you have to do it more than necessary against your will, it starts to add up, I guess. Even the second game, which I love the second game, but I don't love it for the combat. I love it for everything else it does. So like when you have to do it more than necessary against your will, it starts to be like, oh, this is repetitive. When the combat in Arc the Lad's just pretty simple and bare bones already. Like it doesn't have as much depth as like something like Fire Emblem. But also, like I said, in Shadows of Valentia, if you didn't want to battle, you simply could just avoid the enemies because there's no random encounter. You already had the defense buff. Ow. It's really not to harp on the games because I still like the Arc the Lad games, and the collection was still a really good experience overall. But if I had to choose something that's like, you know, not the best, it's the combat. The gameplay is like, it sucks to say this because they're games, but the worst thing is the gameplay, but it's not awful. It's just like fine enough to get you through the game, you know, if that makes sense. It's not insufferable, but it's also not very exciting. But it gets me through the game fine. That being said, I'm looking forward to playing the PS2 Arc the Lad game, because the PS2 Arc the Lad game, I think it's called Twilight of the Spirits or something, that one is the first PS2 one, and it should... I'm wondering how they transition Arc the Lad to like 3D. I'm gonna look forward to how they do that. I already have it on PlayStation because they had it as part of PS Plus, so I'll definitely be playing that one. Probably not anytime soon, but one day. Oh hey, we were here already. I went down that other hole, didn't I? I think I did, and it was like a dead end or something. Part of me feels like I should try again. You know what? Yeah, run. I wanna see just in case. Vine. Oh, I don't have a vine? I take this one because we don't need this vine. Take the vine. No, I did go to that. I took this vine. This is the vine I took from there. So I did go down that hole. Alright. This dungeon is a little... Again, it's mostly tedious because of the way enemies work. That's mostly what it is. I just think that's kind of a bad game mechanic to have. sort of worse than random encounters because at least with random encounters you could run, but I think it's actually worse in this game because, like, while you could, I think you can escape. Like, I think that's the escape area, isn't it? Can't tell. It might be, but, like, why am I gonna run when I just might as well fight, you know? Like, it makes no sense. I'm gonna run when I can just kill stuff. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, Omega Breaker. Ow. Ba-ba-ba-bum. I'm dying. I'm in grave danger. You know what? Yeah, do this. I don't think I'll get any kills, but why not? That silenced everything. Fully menu in the option they should have included. Yeah, that would have been a good solution. Or they can just follow Arc the Lad 2 and not make enemies respawn in dungeons, or have some kind of like timer or whatever. I don't know how they would do that, but like have some kind of like counter where it's like, oh, maybe if you enter a room a few times, then kind of like random encounters, I guess. They could probably find some way to work it out. I did not mean to do that. I meant to use Heat Shell. But yeah, assuming Arc the Lad 2 had that problem, then yeah, I would say make a flee option in the menu, but it boggles me that the second game didn't do that and they decided. I don't know why. I don't know how they fathomed that it's a good idea to make enemies respawn in this game when in the second game they had it perfectly fine. That's what boggles me. Which is why I'm more like, hey, just do what the second game did. Makes no sense. Dude, Omega Breaker goes so far. Goes insanely far. I love it. Heat Shell. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-bum. Alright, this whole Vine dungeon, like, seems a little confusing. I mostly hate it because of the game mechanic of enemies respawning. Now that's like the new reason I hate this place. I think this concept is, like, fine, but it's the game mechanic of Arc the Lad 3's dungeons is souring me on this dungeon as a whole because it's a lot of backtracking, forgetting if you want to get the treasure. Let's use Cheryl's Cure, because we're not really using Cheryl all that much. I mean, I'll probably whiff her out later, maybe.